Hello everyone. So in the last video we have seen how we can create four endpoints in an API, four endpoint API with four different routes for four different scenarios uh, get, delete, put, post, and put. Right. So you can now do all the four operations that are called like create, update, delete, and uh, you know. Uh, retrieve, right? So all the four things. Sorry guys. So all the four things now you're able to do using API hit basically. So you have the basic idea of how you can do four operations using four different routes in by writing four different APIs in one controller, so four different functionalities connected to each and every routes. So one thing I want to tell is like now you have what a controller is. Right now you have some idea of what a controller is. So one thing is so controller, you know what model is, right? So we normally write our code inside a controller connected to the roots being connected to the functionality, right? So but what actually the structure should be is we even though we start everything with the controller, the APIs are coming, the routes are hitting the functionalities in the controller, but we don't write all the code logics, or let's in another word, we don't write all the business logics inside the controller. Okay, we have a structure. Okay, so what actually we have to do is when it comes to the logic, let's say this is a logic, right? This we are looping the code and we are doing something and we are updating data. Okay, or even we are adding something to a list. This is also a logic. We are removing something from a list. This is also a logic, right? And we are returning a list. Obviously, this is also a logic. So all the logics we don't directly write into the controller. What we normally do is we write a service class. Okay, so now you are being introduced to a new class called service class. So the business logic. Okay, so we don't what we do is we don't write business logic inside the controller. What we do is these logics we bring into the service class. Okay, and once we write all the logics inside the service class, what we do is we create an object of the service class inside our controller class, and then we will call the respective methods from the service class objects inside our controller class. This is the proper way of doing the coding, right? So that means all the business logics should be a separate class called service class, and the service class should have all the logics within correctly or properly structured methods. And we have to create a let's say class or object of the service class inside our controller class, and we have to call the methods. We will now do it so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so for example, let's say I have created a service class and okay, first let's create a service class. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go here, I'll create a new package, and I will name it as service, like how I did it with controllers. Okay, so we have a new package called service, and within that I will create a new service class, new Java class, and we will say staff service. Okay, so that we have a new staff service class. For the moment, I don't write anything within this. What I will directly do is I will go to the staff controller class, and I will try to create an object of this service class over here. Okay, I will say staff service, and I will give the name as staff service with small letters or camel case, and I will create new staff service. Okay, we don't have to have any constructors within the service class because nothing of such is needed for the moment for our scenarios. So we will just create the service class object with the default constructor. So nothing is there. Okay, then what we should do is we are going to write the same name methods. Let's say if you want to get the staffs, okay, we are going to write a get staffs method inside the service class that is going to have this logic. Okay, then from the service class object I'm going to call that method, and I am going to return value. I'm going to have the return value here where my cursor is. Okay, so that whatever we were doing inside the controller class will be done and returned at the same location. but now it will be done in the service class. Okay, so I will say staff service dot get staffs method, get staffs. Now one thing is we don't have this method implemented inside the service class. That is why I'm getting the error. Obviously I didn't write anything. So what I will do is I'm going to write the implementation of the method inside the service class. So I will go here. It will give me an option, create method get staffs inside in staff service. It intelligently automatically suggests. Otherwise you can manually go and write the same method. Okay, so I will click it here and you can see it has gone into the service class and there's a method has been created with an empty body. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to bring the logic inside this method. Okay, so what is the logic? Just returning the staffs list array, right? So what I will do is I will cut this line, or let's say I will copy this line and I will paste it here. Basically I'm bringing the whole logics there, but it says we don't have staffs list. Okay, what is the problem? This line, creating a new array list of staffs, also I should bring inside the service class. I will copy this and I will paste it here. Okay, that means everything that was inside the controller class now being brought into the service class. So another thing is the service class object method should return a list of staff, right? So it shouldn't be a void. So list of staff. Okay, so now that what we have to do is we have to simply call the staff service get staffs method and we have to return the value of that directly here, and we don't want this return staffs method anymore. Logic, see, now the logic or business logic have been moved into the service class with the same methodology name, and in the controller class we don't have any business logic. What we do is we simply call the staff service object and we call the particular method and we return whatever the method returns. We directly returns here. Okay, so the same thing I'm going to do with this delete, post and put. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go into the post, delete. So in the first line I will write service staff service dot delete staff. Okay, so the delete staff method is not there. What I will do is I'm going to create the method inside the service. Okay, so the method has been created. You can even manually go and type it. So I hope for our understanding, what I am doing is I am just writing an non-existing method and I am creating that afterwards. So I'll go to the delete staffs in controller. So I wrote the method here, and now I'm going to bring this logic, the complete logic, inside the service class. So this is our logic, right? The whole for loop. So I will copy it and paste here. See here. And one more thing is here, this method, okay, this delete staff method is passing a staff ID, right? So this pass staff ID, because the staff ID is being used in the logic, right? So this should be passed inside the staff service delete staff method, right? So what I will do is I will pass it here. After passing it, I will go to the staff service and I will change the method to take an integer staff ID. The same way we wrote this controller method, we are writing it in the service class. Okay, same logic. Okay, since this method is not returning anything and it is just a void method, we don't need to return anything. All I have to do is I have to remove this business logic from this particular method. Okay, so see, look at the delete staff method in controller. Simply this delete staff method, take a path variable from the URL and take the variable as staff ID, and it is passing to the same named delete staff method into the staff service class. So whatever the logic we had inside the delete staff method of the controller, all the methods are now inside our staff service method. Okay, so I will manually do one thing and let's see how it works now. So we have, let's say we have the staffs.add logic for the add staff, right? That is going to take a staff object as a parameter, right? So what I will do is I will write the same method in the service class. Okay, instead of first writing the method with an error and then creating, I will first create the method and replace it here, right? So add staff, and it is going to take a staff. So add staff, it's going to take a staff object, right? So what I'm going to do is I will simply create the method in the staff service class. Okay, so I will first note how the method has been structured. Okay, I'm going to add the staff into the what you call list. Okay, so I'll go to the staff service method. I will type public. It's not going to return anything. Void. The same name I will write, add staff, and it is going to take the staff object, right? As we have seen in the controller already, staff. And what is the business logic we have to have? I'll go to my controller. So this is just simply adding the staff, one staff to the list. So I'll take it, copy this, and I'll simply paste it here. The same way, same implementation. Okay. Since our internal list also the same name within the staff service, staffs. Okay, the list of the staffs are in the staff service also having the same name. There's no errors. We're adding the object into the staffs list. I hope it is clear. Okay, then what I will do is I'll go to the staff controller. Now I don't need this because I'm going to call the staff service object and pass the value, right? So what I will do is I will call the staff service dot add staff method and pass this staff into that method. I'll copy this and pass it here. I hope this is clear, guys. So for these two scenarios, I took a different approach. For this, I first wrote the method inside the service and called it here. So whatever the most comfortable way you can go for, whatever is most, both are same actually. Whatever you understand, whatever was easy to understand for yourself, you can go with that. Okay. Again, I'm going to do the same thing here. Here I see this is a public void update staff method. I'm going to update the staff using a staff, and by passing the staff object as a parameter, and I'm going to have the business logic here. So what I will do is I'm going to write the same method inside the service class and pass the same business logic for this service class. Okay, so I will just take the method name first, copy, and I'll go to the service class and I will paste it so that the name will not be changed. It is easy to me. And I will again go to the controller and see, okay, I'm going to pass a staff object. I don't need the request body and all because these have been extracted from the URL. So that thing only being done in the controller. Okay. So I'm just taking the staff object because I need the staff object to be passed inside my service class method to do the business logic, because we are doing something with the staff object, right? So I will say, okay, I will first copy these two words and I will pass it inside my service class method. Once I'm done, I'll create the method. Now I need the logic, right? And I know where the logic is. Whatever is inside this controller method, class method, is the complete logic, right? So I will copy this logic and paste it here. Okay, so I have pasted the complete logic inside the staff service class. Okay, now we have a functional code method. Now I'm going to call it inside the same respective method in the controller. So I'll go here. I will remove the whole logic because I have copied it and pasted in staff service object. So I have removed it. Simply, I have to call the staff service class. And I will call the respective method update staff. Okay, same method, right? That I wrote now. And I have to pass this staff object inside the method. Okay, that's all, guys. So I hope now this is very clear. Nothing to be confused. And also, I have moved the staffs array also separately inside the staff service class, isn't it? So I don't need this array also anymore because I don't know I'm not going to do any business logic inside the controller class. So I will remove the staffs list as well. So all I need is as a global variable the object of the staff service class, nothing else. And simply if you go through the code, you will see everywhere I simply call some methods from this staff service class and the method names. Staff service class and the method name, staff service class and the method name, staff service class and the method name. Okay, nothing else we normally do inside the controller. Every logic should be simply going to service class, the respective method. So whatever you want to do, now you can play around. If you want to change something, if you want to change some business logic, or if you want to modify some business logic, you are going to do inside the service class. Nothing is touched inside this controller class. this will remain like this, very neat and clean. You got it, guys? So we take the root, we connect, assign it to functionality, or methodology, and the methodology will simply pass the call another methodology or business logic from the staff service. Sometimes by passing a method, passing a variable or value, sometimes just calling, depending on our purpose. And if the staff service returning a value, we are returning it directly in the controller, like this. You got it? So everywhere the same. So this is the pure structure of how to write controller and passing the data to the service, or passing the next level of functionality or business logic to the service. Okay, guys. So since we have wrote the code, I hope now it is very clear to you. In the next video, we will see the functionality of the code. That means whether the functionality, the 4 scenarios are working as expected, in other words, whether all the functionalities are working as they worked when we had all the logics or business logic inside the controller itself. Because now we moved the code, or we moved the business logic to the service class, but we don't want the functionality to be affected. We want the functionality to work as it worked while all the codes were inside the controller class. So we have to test all the scenarios, get, delete, post, and put once again, since we moved the code there to the other class, to the service class, and ensure nothing is affected, everything is working fine. We will see that in the next video, guys. Until then, take care, bye.